When my husband, 38 meters, suggested open marriage, 40F, my marriage ended in my heart. He just asked me out of the blue about 7 to 8 months ago, and my initial reaction was, am I not enough for him? I mean, yes, I know I could made more effort, lose these last stubborn 5 pounds, maybe put on sexy lingerie more often, and I don't know, spend less time with our babies and not to sleep halfway through our movie night on Fridays, but it still came as a shock to me that he wasn't satisfied with our life. I thought we had a solid foundation of mutual love and respect, and we both have high drive. He explained that it had nothing to do with our love life or relationship. This could just be something more to add for the both of us. My marriage died then and there, in my heart at least. I didn't want to make any rash decisions while heartbroken and act without thinking carefully first. I said no, and that it was nothing I ever wanted to try. He said that it was fine and that he loved me immensely. Now months have gone and I have been thinking carefully, but my initial feeling that my marriage died isn't changing. He has noticed and even complained that I have been distant and that he wanted me back, but I don't know. I don't think it is working for me anymore with what my husband suggested looming between us, even if he hasn't approached me with his suggestion again. It is not just the feeling of inadequacy that is putting a wedge between us, but the thought that he can imagine another man being with me. Touching, kissing and being inside me without it making him sick with jealousy. I even think this part hurt me more than him wanting to sleep with others. We have 2 children together, 4 and 1, and our marriage is working very well. We are compatible in every other aspect and our babies are happy. How can I ask for divorce knowing that nothing will be the same for my babies anymore? I need advice on how to move on with him with all these feelings inside of me. I can't just divorce a man for asking me something and then respecting me when I said no. I just can't.
Further discussion is definitely needed. I think you need to tell him everything you have been feeling since he brought it up. I also think it would be good for you to know why he brought it up in the first place. It doesn't seem like it was out of the blue for him, so what got him thinking about it? What made him think you would be open to considering it? And why now? Did he have someone in mind already? Knowing the answers to these questions may help you understand better where his head was, is it, and how you want to truly proceed in the if I was in your shoes I would probably feel the same as you do.
This is true. Do you think this person could be your hubby?
Have you told him these feelings? I would probably feel similarly. Even him asking makes me wonder if it is because he has someone else in mind already.
Counseling might help a lot here. Further discussion is definitely needed. I can't imagine how it must feel keeping it in this long.
I doubt he wanted you to have with other men. Most likely, he only wanted him to have with other women while he left you at home with your barely postpartum if one of your kids in one. Did he ask you for an open marriage 3 months after you gave birth? So he waited for the most vulnerable moment to ask you that. Is he helping at home and with the kids? Because it sounds like you have less free time and are more tired than he would start with individual therapy for yourself to unpack all of this. You can also be honest and tell him you are angry at him, because he waited for a vulnerable moment after you gave birth to ask if he could go around while you stayed home with a baby and a toddler. I know others said couples therapy, but you need to process this yourself first and make a decision for you. Can you forgive this? Does this make you feel uncertain about your marriage in the future? Do you trust him less, and can you trust him? You can ask him to go to individual therapy to see what the is wrong with him.
Greater than I can't just divorce a man for asking me something and then respecting me when I said no. I just can divorce anyone for any reason. To be this case, you can divorce him because your marriage has ended in your heart. Your heart is broken because of his need to be honest with him about it. Your heart was broken because he suggested it, and now you think you're not enough, you're not adequate, and that he's got someone waiting in the wing for him, or someone he's interested. You were recuperating from giving birth to your youngest one. So I think he was not thinking about you having with other men. He's imagining himself having with other women. He thinks you'll be so busy with the toddlers, so he wants to party it.
Open marriages always seem to go the same way. First, either the partner that proposed it is already cheating or has somebody in mind and wants your permission to go after them. Second, the partner will go out and anything that moves, but if you find even one person to spend time with, they'll freak out and demand to close the marriage again. Seeing as you have small children and probably do the majority of the childcare, your husband likely thinks that you'll be stuck at home with them while he's out living it up. If you find a regular babysitter and start going out too, expect him to have a problem with it.
So, in my experience here and in life, when one party asks for an open marriage out of nowhere, they're already having an affair. They're just looking for permission to absolve the off chance he's been faithful, and you really do want to save your relationship. You need to speak to a professional for sake. Stop blaming yourself. You're perfect just the way you are. Relationships evolve when you have children. Bodies evolve. He can take a long walk off a short pier if he's criticizing your body or parenting and doing nothing to help the children would rather be from a broken home than in one. Don't set the example for your children that their mother is repulsed by their father.
He ruined his own marriage and now he's complaining about you being distant? What an idiot. Hey, let's other implodes shocked Pikachu face.
Even if both of you were open to trying ethical non-monogamy, where the heck is the time and energy going to come from? Y'all have 2 little ones. 90% of the time, the partner asking has someone lined up, and they're trying to justify or excuse cheating. I just about promise that your husband has put no thought into whether or not you might want to date. I also just about promise that he would not like the idea. In part, because he would end up minding the kids if you went out, and that is likely not part of his to hit you with this postpartum. You have the forbearance of a saint. I'd have lost my mind. Your husband must be clueless at best or evil at through his phone. Consult with an attorney or two. Make an exit plan. Even if you don't choose to leave him, being prepared to might give you confidence in your counseling might be useful for communication skills if for nothing else. Demanding counseling would also clearly signal to him just how badly he has feel for you, op. Best wishes to you and the littles.
I keep seeing posts like this. If anyone is wondering what the harm is in asking, this is the harm. By asking, the husband has basically said op isn't good enough for him and she probably shouldn't trust him to not cheat anyway. Op, him asking you is the ultimate disrespect, and now that he has, and destroyed your self-esteem and your trust in the marriage at the same time, he can't just put the genie back in the bottle. He has noticed that you have pulled back, but what has he done to make amends? I'm betting he thinks you should just move on and pretend he didn't just set off a bomb and hurt you deeply. But really, you don't need Reddit's permission to get divorced. If you are done, you are done.
Your babies will be fine. They are happier when you're happier. Staying just for them will ruin them in the long. 100% agree with you. He asked for a reason. Was there someone in mind he wanted to sleep with? Was he already sleeping with someone and wanted to open it in case he got caught? Those are the types of things I'd be thinking as well. And you understand about your feelings. He asked for a reason and I don't think I could ever come back from him down once kids are in since you asked for the open marriage. Things have changed. And I know you have noticed. To me our marriage died the second you didn't consider me or my feelings, just your own selfish need. And it's made me question your intentions. But most of all it's changed the way I feel about you, and this don't want to stay in a marriage where my partner thinks it's okay to have with other women. And the thought of me with another man doesn't make you think it's best we have a separation while I work through my feelings. Go to MC while you are out the house to make him leave to his parents. Or we'll cry and beg and say it didn't mean it yada y ads. But he did. He asked you if you would be okay with him going out other women. That just not someone I'd want to be. Kids will be fine. Kids are very resilient and as they're so young they will be okay. It would be better for them in the long run as watch you resent your husband and there be no love. They will think this is how relationships strong. Honey, do what is in your heart to do.
I agree a conversation is obviously needed, but also wanted to add, I know you said how could you ask for a divorce knowing things would change for your kids, but you also need to think about how things will change anyway. You said your husband has noticed, not sure why he'd expect different, but the longer you hold this resentment and distance the relationship will suffer. So what your kids will experience will change. Do you think it's better they deal with unhappy parents?
Very usual for fake posts. It's the same person posting this.
I can't vouch for the OP's authenticity here, but that linked thread is 100% fake. The author's stories always involve a buildup of events before the immediate issue. They start with a backstory that's always between 2 or 3 paragraphs, then bring it up to the present with the phrase, "That was this was a few months. That was 2 weeks I do touch grass."
That sounds identical.
I don't know what to tell him. I wanted to get over it but I just can't, I guess.
And if her youngest kid is 1, he asked right after she gave birth. So he chose the most vulnerable time for any woman. And how is she going to go around while she is healing, breastfeeding, and taking care of a baby. She wasn't. He wanted to go out and leave her home alone with a baby and a toddler. Like what? And now he is upset she is distant.
I am poly and have been for years, and I am still baffled by these people who out of nowhere just declare to their monogamous partner. I would like an open zero research, soul searching, groundwork. Fuckbuggle. Out of the shifting weaponized strain of stupidity do they have? How do they function in adult life with that little foresight? Because I can guarantee that if they have dropped it on their partner like that, then no they don't. I will lay actual cash money that if their partner responded to the suggestion with joy, enthusiasm and a quick list of everyone they immediately wanted to who wasn't the partner in question, they would be just as devastated as the op is. And frankly they would deserve. You aren't wrong. Him asking this of you was a massive issue and a problem, and I am not in the least bit surprised that it put your affection for him on life support, if not it outright. I will join the crowd saying counseling, because even if the relationship isn't salvageable, as you have kids, setting healthy co-parenting boundaries with a professional on hand is probably going to be. For if it is salvageable, or you say you don't know this man anymore but you still know him better than us. Is having occasional moments of terminal levels of stupidity a thing you've known him to do in the past? If it turns out he put all the thought into this he might have put into suggesting a new or vibrator, because to him in the moment when he asked, he wasn't considering the other people he might sleep with as actual human beings but rather as mobile toys. Do you think that is something you could forgive? Should he spend a suitable amount of time head slapping? That's all down to you and is difficult for anyone else to judge. I don't think anyone would blame you if you left. I don't think anyone would judge you if, after suitable amounts of soul searching and professionals telling him how idiotic his behavior has been, you stayed. I think the only thing you absolutely, 100%, should definitely not do is continue to live like this, miserable and isolated and out of love. You deserve better than that.